Hey everyone, and thank you for joining the August Continuity Coffee and Chat on the Global Resilience Exchange channel. I'm your host, Daniela. This month, we had professionals from across the globe who came together to share, learn, and exchange perspectives. It's always inspiring to see how diverse experiences can spark new ideas for strengthening resilience. I'd like to take a moment to encourage you all to subscribe to this channel and keep the conversation going with your comments. And if you like something that you hear, please give this video a thumbs up. This month, our discussion centered on three topics with a subtopic. So let's get right into it. First topic that was brought up was about active shooter planning and response. And I'd like to include the term active assailant because there are people around the world who don't necessarily deal with active shooters, but maybe folks with other type of deadly weapons, such as knives or even motor vehicles. So, we explored how organizations can prepare for this challenging risk, balancing safety, communication, and recovery considerations. And so, my reflection on this is that it most certainly is challenging and varied depending on what part of the world that you're in. Balancing safety is really crucial. And so, engaging with public safety officials, or if you have a physical security department in your organization, is going to be really crucial to the success of the recovery and any of the considerations when it comes to mitigation, preparation, prevention. Communication is a great way to help people understand what's going on or not, right? So, a lot of times we see rumors that circulate around active shooter situations. And so, if you do have good information, working with your communications department, your marketing department, PR, whoever it may be, or HR, even working with them to make sure that there are sound communications can be really beneficial to that type of response. And I want to highlight as we're going into the new school year, especially in the North America, well, US specifically, colleges are back in session. Really, all levels will be back in school all across the country by September, teaching your young ones, what it is, what they need to listen to or listen for if there's an active shooter, which sounds terrible that we have to teach children this, but it's better that they're prepared. Resilience just doesn't have to be inside of our jobs, it should be our entire families and our communities. So, the subtopic for this particular topic was incorporating realism into exercises. So, many of the participants shared creative ways to make drills and simulations feel more authentic, helping teams practice under pressure in ways that would translate to real world readiness. Now, active shooter or active assailant scenarios can be really tough to even get approved, especially if you want them to be authentic and more real world, because there is a notion that we don't want to cause more harm. Having people think about that or go through that scenario could be traumatic to them. That is what we're hearing from leaders. And so, is it training enough? And a lot of organizations may opt for an active shooter or active assailant training versus an active shooter or active assailant exercise. But if you're thinking about exercises in general, really adding that authentic feel is going to give you more benefits. You're going to learn how people act in certain situations, typically crisis, that's what we're working with, and really trying to understand how they're going to work through that particular crisis. So you never want to spoon feed folks during your exercise, but also you don't have to give them a heart attack. I know some people love to give an exercise that makes people sweat, but you have to know your audience and when that's going to be appropriate. The second topic was using AI in continuity and resilience. So we discussed both opportunities and caution points. Opportunities being streamlining documentation to having it for predictive analysis. And then on the caution side, recognizing the importance of ethics and oversight. Now, this is a topic that has been brought up multiple times during these forums, and I think it's important to remember once again that this is a global community. So there are certain countries that already have laws, rules, and regulations implemented for the use of artificial intelligence, but you always need to pay attention to your organization's rules and regulations. Some organization have said absolutely not. Do not use ChatGPT. It is blocked. You can't even get onto the website. While other organizations have said only use Copilot, or they're creating their own artificial intelligence systems that can have that private information in there. Now, I am a strong believer that once it's on the internet, it's never truly private, right? So we have to be careful about what that is. We are putting into those systems to try to create more resilience, right? Because you never know how that could be used against you. I personally use artificial intelligence, not so much for work, but I do think there's a lot of benefits to being able to streamline and to be able to get some time back in the normal activities that I need to accomplish. The last topic was validating business impact analysis, or the BIA. We emphasize the need to ensure BIAs stay accurate and relevant as organizations and risks evolve, with practical tips for keeping them current. So I think there's always a discussion of the value of a business impact analysis. And I'd have to say that if you don't feel that you are getting a benefit from your BIA, then maybe you need to change the process. If you are not understanding the actual impact of certain functions or services or applications in your organization that fall under your purview, the BIA is no longer serving its purpose. It needs to be accurate. It needs to be relevant. People need to be able to access it as appropriate, and people need to be able to summarize that information so that they can make decisions, right? As risks evolve, maybe the BIA needs to evolve as well. And I absolutely think that this is organization specific. I do not recommend everyone throwing out the BIA, but I have seen some of the participants in this forum who don't use BIAs, and it sounds great for them and their organization. So definitely consider, are you getting what you need out of your business impact analysis, and how do you validate? Public sector is going to be a little bit different from private sector, could be different from higher education. And so it is a very individualized system that you need to review. The richness of our dialogue is what makes the continuity coffee and chat so valuable. It's not just about sharing challenges, it's about building community and advancing our profession together. So I do want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel, as well as leave a comment on any of the topics, whether that be active shooter or active assailant, incorporating realism into exercises, using artificial intelligence and continuity and resilience, or validating the business impact analysis. And if you heard anything that you agree with or want to talk more about, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you watched the video. I look forward to seeing you at our next session on the first Thursday of September. Bring your questions, your insights, and your curiosity. Your voice matters here. Until then, stay resilient and keep leading the way forward.